one thing that nobody saw coming, and this is the competition of states. I don't put companies here in New York anymore, or in Massachusetts, or in New Jersey, or in California. Those states are uninvestable. The policy here is insane. The taxes are too high. We put them in Fargo, North Dakota, because 40% of the people work elsewhere, including Boston. So I was, a bit of a debate with Elizabeth Warren about this, but I say, look, Senator, we've got to move the companies out of your state because you're not investable anymore. You're punishing people if they're successful. You overtax them. You hit them with a super tax. New Jersey, what a mess. New York, uninvestable.
Wait,
California,
why is New York uninvestable?
Try and do a project in New York. Try and build a data.
I'm asking, Don's point, is it beyond the taxes?
Oh, the regulatory environment is punitive. I had a project in upstate New York behind the grid in Niagara Falls for electricity, a global data center we were building. Eventually, it got so bad with the politicians in the local region and the state policy, we moved it to Norway and all the jobs. Wow. Norway has it now. Thousands of jobs coming out of that. I mean, that's New York, uninvestable. Sorry, don't shoot the messenger, just telling you the way it is.
You saw those news. CNN, though, those CNN hosts was mad. They were quiet. What makes New York so uninvestable? He looked at her like she was crazy, bruh. What makes it uninvestable? And then the Democrat Party will be the same people trying to say that they're bringing jobs back when their environments, the incentive, the environment that they facilitate in these states, in these districts, push companies to put their business elsewhere, losing jobs, losing taxpayers. New York, God forbid the rich leaves. Bruh, the New York state, the government in New York, it runs like a damn near like an autocracy, almost like a noble ruling class, because the rich know, hey, New York politician, you piss me off enough, I just might move all my stuff out of New York. Don't do that, please. Don't do that. Don't leave. Beholden to the rich, beholden to billionaires, but they want to project this message, oh, we're against the billionaires. Illegal migrants now are a majority of arrests in New York. Let's check out this clip here before I go into my further reactions to Kevin O'Leary's stance about him slamming the Democrats about them being insane. And this is insanity, America. This is what we're going to vote for? Is this people who vote for Kamala Harris, they're only voting for Trump is bad. Trump bad. That's their whole reason for voting for Kamala Harris. There's no policy that Kamala Harris is running on. But I digress. Let's talk about the illegal migrants being responsible for 75% of arrested offenders.
Reports show migrant crime is making up the majority of arrests in New York City. In fact, police report as many as 75% of the people they've arrested in Midtown Manhattan for assault, robbery, and domestic violence are illegal migrants, according to the New York Post. 60% of those arrests of migrants are in Queens. Reports show migrant crime.
Wow. But Republicans are exaggerating migrant crime. Another reason why people are leaving New York. Another reason why people leave these blue states, these blue cities. But you're going to continue voting for the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. That's insanity. Right? Insanity, guys. But in this clip I'm going to show you, this is Nicole Shanahan speaking about why she left the Democratic Party and why you should too. Let's take a look.
I, was very comfortable within the Democratic Party for many years, but I have to say something happened in 2016 that started a cascading series of events that has led to a amorphous in the Democratic Party that make it immoral, and in my opinion, unprincipled, lacking honesty, lacking transparency, lacking competence. And they feel entitled to throw away very, very important principles like the Bill of Rights, principles like, our First Amendment, free speech, principles like not using sabotage in democratic processes. And they feel entitled entirely. And I've done this investigation. I did this investigation prior to leaving to the party because I tried to reform the party. I tried for years to find someone at the DNC. They gutted any real leadership at the DNC. They put in a guy who's just, they don't even bother to talk to the official leadership at the DNC because they think it's irrelevant. It's just a carry-along program now. It's just a carry-along group that just is almost an administrative pocket for the Pelosi contingent. And so I saw it falling apart from the inside with a great deal of concern. And, at some point as a donor, they kind of just push you into a corner and they say, well, if you don't want Donald Trump, you have to support us. And that's their bottom line. That's all they have left as a policy is not Donald Trump. And my last response in the weeks before I left the party was that is not a policy. That is not leadership.
Yes.
You can't run on a platform of not Donald Trump.
And that's exactly what it is, right? And a part of me wants to end tribalism in politics. And I understand having a preference, like being principled about what you believe is the right path for the country. That I'm not saying that you shouldn't be tribal about that. But is this idea that you can't call a spade, right? The Democratic Party is literally, they have no policy positions. Look at Kamala's website. This is a problem. Kamala supporters, you can't gaslight me or people who think like me or my audience into voting for Kamala Harris because of skin color, because of symbolism, because that's all the Democratic Party has to offer, the appearance of good. But are they actually doing good? That's the question I'm asking. Are their policies actually giving good results? No. And you wonder why. And they want to get mad when Kevin O'Leary comes out and slams them, saying that it's uninvestable to go into Democratic ran areas. Harris-Ross campaign needs to realize that the Trump is a threat to democracy narrative isn't working for third-party voters. Spending hundreds of millions to remove RFK Jr., Jill Stein, Cornel West from ballots isn't something people are going to forget about. This is what you're voting for, Democrats, Democratic voters. Don't sit here ever moralize in my comment section again about how better your candidate is, of better character than Donald Trump. No, you're not. Your character is even worse. Your person's character is even worse than Donald Trump's, because at least Trump is transparent and say, hey, look, this is who I am. I'm just trying to win because I believe I am best for this country. Here's why. Your candidate, he's a threat to democracy. We must save the republic. While your party's doing this crap, trying to remove candidates off of ballots, trying to keep candidates who stop running on the ballots because it'll help them and their democracy, aka power and control. The whole but Trump is worse narrative isn't going to get you the independent vote in 2024. And as a registered independent, I'll consider myself a right-leaning independent. This is a true statement for me. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Only people the Democratic elites have to blame is themselves if they lose. This is true. This is why Trump has so much momentum, why there's so many people who are out openly supporting Donald Trump. I've never seen so many outward support for Donald Trump before, especially in the black community, especially amongst black men. I honestly believe, and this is just my personal opinion, in 2020, 77% of black men voted for Donald Trump. Not Donald Trump, sorry, misspoke. For Joe Biden. 77% of black men voted for Joe Biden in 2020. I believe 30% of black men will vote for Donald Trump in 2024. If I see that, that's a great sign. I think Trump is going to win the election, especially if he can maintain his support with white voters. But the end result is people who vote Democrat, they're pretending that they're only voting against Donald Trump, but that's not the case. You're voting for something, regardless if you know of it or not. Because at the end of the day, ignorance of the law doesn't protect you from the law. Ignorance of your choices does not protect you from the outcome of your choices. And at the end of the day, you vote for Kamala Harris. Look what the Biden administration is currently doing right now. The Biden administration quietly announced $380 million in funding for illegal released from the DSA custody into our country. Meanwhile, Americans can't afford groceries. Hawaiian fire victims got $700 and many veterans are homeless. Democrats prioritize illegals over Americans. Look at the migrant crime. There's videos out there surfacing that people can't even press charges on illegals. These illegals are running around like protected, like a protective class, like a higher, Americans are being treated as like second-class citizens by the Democratic Party. And this is more of the leadership you want, America? Is this what you want? Department of Homeland Security announced $380 million in additional funding to communities receiving migrants. Now, communities who are receiving migrants, who are those? Oh, all of them are Democratic-run states. So you're using taxpayers' dollars to fund your operation scheme of importing more people, more populations to increase your electoral college numbers before the election. Make it make sense. This is all political. The reason why Democrats prioritize illegals over Americans is because they know the illegals at a greater percentage than Americans support their party. And they're working to actively get them past the citizenship, actively working to give them cash and prizes and benefits at our expense. Make it make sense, guys. We pay 100% of the tax benefits, and the illegals get as much right to it as us. Make it make sense. Look at the outcomes of Democratic policy. It's time to end the Department of Education. Trump is right about this one. The first time I heard anyone say the Department of Education should not exist, I thought they were nuts. Then they asked me to list just one academic metric that has improved since its inception in the 1980s. I couldn't. Nobody can. Democratic policy. Jimmy Carter created the Department of Education. Look at the outcomes. If you vote for the Democratic Party, to me, that's insanity. I believe you're misguided. From a economic perspective, education perspective, all the policy positions that the Democrats advocate for creates more of an incentive that hurts the American people. At the end of the day, your job as a politician is to prioritize the needs and interests of your people, not the needs and interests of yourself and other individuals. The illegals are just the benefactor of that because they know, oh, hey, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's almost like a bribery at this point. Democrats are using our money to pay for benefits and people give them the red carpet treatment. And then they come in and say, oh my God, America's so great. Oh my God. Who gave us all this? Don't forget the Democrat Party gave you those $15,000 EBT cards. The Democratic Party has you hosted up in these luxury hotels, giving them a good customer experience. And then down the line, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, they give them a path to citizenship for breaking the law and coming into this country illegally. They're going to remember that and vote for the Democratic Party. Literally ushering in the very same thing that destroyed their country that they fled from. Being used as a pawn to a political game. This is the reality. I'm going to finish off this video with Kevin O'Leary continuing his thoughts about why I can't say it more coherently than what he stated on a business perspective. Bad incentives, bad environments, bad governorship. That's the Democratic Party.
Global data center we were building. Eventually, it got so bad with the politicians in the local region and the state policy, we moved it to Norway and all the jobs. Norway has it now. Thousands of jobs coming out of that. I mean, that's New York. Uninvestable. Sorry, don't shoot the messenger. Just telling you the way it is.
Yeah,
that's
I think
it. Uninvestable.
Some pushback from our elected officials in New York on that.
I was just going to say Kathy Hochul.
Yeah, but
I'll debate them any time of the day you want.
We would love to set that up.
Particularly
I'd watch
AOC.
that.
She's great at killing jobs. She kills jobs by the thousands. You know, another.
Yeah, I remember the Amazon deal. Amazon would have brought billions of dollars of tax money to New York. And her stance and her advocacy, her mobilization of people to protest that, it was like cutting your nose to spite your face. And then people complain about the budget shortfall that New York is going through right now. I bet Amazon could have helped with that. And that's why I said the New York political system is so reliant on the rich, it's not even funny. The rich damn near pay half their taxes. Why would think about it. Let's think about it rationally, people. Why would someone rich who has the ability to move in any part of the country, any part of the world that they want, would live in New York? Because maybe they're getting something for their money. I see taxes almost like a donation. The left, this is funny about the left wing. The left wing will get mad if a billionaire is donating money, big amount of money, into Democratic politics, right? They'll get mad about that, but they don't see taxes playing the same game. The taxes can be made the same argument too, because that rich New Yorker has to do is say, hey, I'm gonna leave Democrat politician, but if you leave a little exception for my company to avoid all this mess, I'll stay here and pay half these taxes. You don't think that's going on? Like, make it make sense, leftists. This is why I can't be a liberal, bro. These people live in some imaginary fantasy land. Like, it's ridiculous. The same argument you make for big money politics, I can make the same argument for why taxing the rich at a high percentage actually makes the system reliant on the rich, creating the very same problem you think you're trying to fix: the influence of the rich and wealthy in politics. Which gives you more leverage? Knowing the fact that your tax money is needed to maintain the whole entire governmental system, or you donating money to a political candidate? I digress.
New Jersey problem. Where did Amazon take their jobs? They took them away from her. She threatened to sue them if they created jobs. I mean, this is a reality. This is a reality that the business...
There's a little more to it, but let's not relitigate that.
Well, sorry, just telling the truth.
He's saying what a lot of people are saying, especially what happened with that Amazon thing here in New York. Just real quickly, I don't want to hog the conversation, but what was Elizabeth Warren's response when you said that to her?
Look, I have a lot of respect for her because it's okay to have a debate about politics, but not policy. When you have punitive policy, you're making a mistake. And I want to just put up my hand and say, I don't agree, Senator, with your policy. I respect you as a politician, a very successful one. You know, she's very successful, and that's the state where I grew my kids. I mean, our family grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. We left there to move to Florida like everybody else is because it's such a tough place to, you know, this is a tough message. People really are critical about this, but somebody has to call it out because this is a competition of states now, and we don't put money there anymore. We put it in other places, and jobs are created elsewhere. Over time, this is going to diminish New Jersey, diminish New York, diminish Massachusetts, and California out of business.
I agree, right? Because what made these cities big, like New York, Boston, California, they're rested on the laurels of the past glories when they used to be. Oh my God, we got to move to California. We got to the gold rush. They were relying on these decades of migration where they were attractive places to live at. And now they're resting on the laurels of previous glory. And now new capitals are being created. The Nashvilles, the Floridas, Miami. Miami's being considered the second Wall Street. Maybe the new Wall Street. Who knows? Depending on the trends. If this continues, you got a lot of Wall Street people moving into Miami, bringing money, being jobs, creating a new industry in Miami. This is the competition that he's highlighting. And blue states will lose on this. And this is the problem. I think this is why I say, as someone who's politically informed, I think you should care about local politics a lot or just as much as national politics. Because if you get the local politics right, you can bring a lot of investment into your district, into your areas. This is why I advocate for rural America. Bring leadership that's trying to bring opportunities to your district, to your country, to your town. I think that's the real solution in politics, right? I don't want to give too much information on where I live, but certain areas in Florida, they're creating new cities here in Florida. That's one of the reasons why I moved from South Florida into Central Florida, because they're building a lot of stuff to attract more people to the area. And I'm saying, hey, if you get the local politics down, you can have the same effect in Alabama, Milwaukee. You can bring industries there because they can say, oh, look, they're giving some tax cuts like what New York tried to do for Amazon to attract businesses there. This is what I'm saying. Get more politically involved. Yeah, we can't really do not much about national politics. Yes, we have less control over national politics, but local politics, you can go out there and advocate, say, look, this mayor candidate is going to help us bring jobs here, bring more tax revenue here. It's a win-win for all of us. We got to elect this guy. It's time to put people who are solution-based into politics, not grievance-based, like the Democratic parties are portraying themselves as. The Democratic Party, I'm not going back to this idea of grievance-based politics, mudslinging politics. I'm done with that style of politics. I want a politics that's forward-thinking. I want a politics that's based on solutions. I want a Vivek. Trump, in a way, is a middle of both, but I want a Vivek. I want good outcomes. I want policies based on outcomes, not based on intentions. This is the reality. I'm tired of the games. In America, it won't change unless we put out the incentives for it to change. Like they say, change starts with you. So let's start it as the voters. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be interested to hear what you guys have to say, what you guys are thinking in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.